In the book 5 summary, we get Ernest Hemingway talking about his farewell to arms. In his farewell to arms, we finally get Catherine and Labor. With Catherine and Labor, we finally realize that maybe this might work out really well. Now they'll have a kid, and now they will go ahead and live happily ever after. In the end, of course, we go ahead and learn that, well, Catherine really does start to have a baby. Before we go ahead and learn about Catherine's pregnancy, so we find out everything about his life. Henry goes and reviews about his own commissions, own experiences throughout the novel itself before he met Catherine, all the way to the time he met Catherine, which is pretty much the entirety of the novel. They go ahead and spend some days skiing with each other, doing things together, and we finally realize that maybe they are really made for each other. We used to think that Catherine and him were just together because they like the idea of being together, but then we find out through Henry's eyes that they are mutually in a relationship with each other. And then labor starts to happen. Catherine's baby starts going into labor, and Catherine really needs the hospital. And here is a minute by minute thing that's literally happened. They first go to the hospital where two people go ahead, put her on a stretcher, put her onto the ambulance, and send her to the hospital for labor. And here is how it works out. And the ambulance goes ahead, arrives at the hospital. She is put into the bed, forced to turn, dress into a nightgown, which has clear view of the baby. And within that, she went ahead and started going to labor. But because of all these intense pains, they started giving her some gas to go ahead and mitigate the pain. To mitigate the pain, of course, was quite a big deal. And she asked for more and more gas. This may have contributed to her more pains, because eventually the gas stopped working, and then a high dose of gas came in, and she was able to stop the pain. But anything above 2 was quite dangerous for someone in labor. And Henry was starting to become worried about this. The baby itself was starting to get into labor, and it came out quite premature. After several pushes for an entire hour, we go ahead and finally get the baby. But the baby is stillborn. Apparently the umbilical cord had choked the baby's neck. And of course the baby itself was finally born, but since it was stillborn, it didn't really work out. And the mother was really sick. It was over, but she was unconscious, and she was starting to die. She started losing blood, and she died of hemorrhage a few minutes later. Henry came in and found out that, well, this was definitely not worth it. He didn't like the baby because he was the one who killed the mother, and he really didn't want Catherine to go away, but he tried to say goodbye, but he couldn't. They were both dead already. In the end, with this quiet summary, though, he went ahead, realized that there was nothing he could do, and just walked back to the hotel by himself, realizing that maybe love really was quite painful. That's what I think he was thinking of at the time, but it was quite painful. In the end, so Ernest Hemingway's A Farewell to Arms was quite a vigorous introduction, and it was quite a vigorous literal farewell to arms too. Ernest Hemingway's character Henry went into the World War One, vigorous for war, looking for battle, but when he came out, he finally got sick of it, like his officers, fellow officials, who were sick of war too. This truly was a farewell to arms. Now, I'm not exactly sure what happens to Henry, because he's deserted the Italian army, and I'm pretty sure they won't find him in Switzerland anytime soon. He'll probably return to America. But we won't know what happens next, and I personally don't really want to know what happens next. This is quite a big conclusion towards Ernest Hemingway's A Farewell to Arms, and I think this is a quite wrap up too. It does it really cleanly, but it doesn't really do it happily. We don't get a happy ever after, but we are able to get something. So in the end, that is the end of Ernest Hemingway's A Farewell to Arms. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you guys soon in the other episodes, and until then, Shahano, peace. Bye bye.